Which of these commodities means the most to you? Today, I would like to think that most of you are probably thinking about oil. You know, with gas prices the way that they're going, that might be the most valuable commodity in your mind. Gas prices continue to move upward. Will it ever stop? None of us knows. I hope that you will stop and think as I present today about the most valuable commodity, about what might be the most valuable commodity for you. I'd like for you to think about these as I talk about my next commodity. This commodity specifically is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you've lost it, you can never have it back. This commodity, we've never had as much as we would like, but we always have more than we realize. And last but not least, if you master this, then you can master life itself. So what is this commodity? This commodity is time. Yes, time. As we use this commodity, it goes away. But there's always a little bit more, or is there? My fellow Toastmasters, our most welcome guests. Time is such a valuable commodity, and one that each of us uses every single day of our life. Today, I'd like to talk about this precious commodity of time. And I'd like to cover it from 3 different perspectives. Number one is how often that we waste this commodity. Number 2 is ways that I've found at better using this commodity. And number 3 is hopefully convincing all of you to find a way to use this commodity in a little bit better way. So number 1 is, how do we waste this commodity? I found a list of 29 ways that all of us can waste our time. You know what I decided to do? I decided I'm not going to bore you with 29 different things. So I picked 5 that often I use, and I'm trying my best to waste my time less by using these less. Number 1 is complaining. That's definitely a way of wasting time. Complaining usually doesn't get us very far. Number 2 is reading the news. Now, some of you may argue with me on this because there's a lot of good things to find in the news, but in my personal life, I found that I'd rather be out living life than reading the news and getting worried about the things that are going on in our world. Number 3, playing video games. I don't mean to poke at you. I know you love your video games. I do too. But I found that sometimes it's just wasting a little bit of life by playing too much of the video games. Number 4, surfing the web. If you have something specific you're going on the web about, it's good. It's important. Go for it. But if you're just surfing just to look at things, oftentimes you're wasting time. And number 5 is indecision. Yes, indecision. Thank you, Ruth, for helping us all come to a decision on what pizzas we're all going to eat later today. Because indecision will often hurt and waste our time. So what are ways that we can better, what else is a way that we often waste time? Well, that's right, these mobile phones. Yep. Here's some pointers or some points that you might see about using phone usage. Most of us pick up our phones about 63 times a day. Yes, 63 times. The average American spends 5.4 hours on their mobile phone looking at their screen per day. This one was interesting. A couple points down, it says social media is responsible for 2 hours and 24 minutes of global internet time spent by an average daily user. And baby boomers spend about 5 hours on their phones, and millennials spend about 48 minutes texting each and every day. So how can we save a little more time? How can we spend it a little more wisely? Well, one way would be to stay off your phone a little more often. And that gets to my second point. How have I found ways to better use this commodity? Well, one thing that I've done is I've downloaded an app on my phone that's called Stay Safe. When I first downloaded this app, it was showing that my average time on my phone was just over 6 hours a day. I did not realize how much of my time I was wasting on my phone. I've now cut that down to 5, and it's on the downward spiral because I've found ways that when I'm on a website or on a thing for a certain amount of time, it'll tell me, hey, you've been looking at this for 20 minutes, for 30 minutes, and it'll help me to realize I need to shut this off. I need to get back focused. There are periods of time where I can focus on certain things. I'll put something in my calendar that'll say, hey, you need to make phone calls. You need to send emails. That way I can focus on those things for a certain amount of time. And then I also allow myself, yes, I allow myself time to waste. So I actually bank a specific amount of time. Hey, you've got 20 minutes. You can just sit back and you can surf the web or you can check out Facebook. But after that 20 minutes, I stop and I get refocused and start using my time once again more wisely. So what really matters to you? How can you spend your time focusing on what matters more in your life? Is it your family? Is it your studies? Is it for fighting for world or community peace? When you make time for these things, you will find time for these things. I'd like to finish off here just with a little bit of a story that I heard. And I want you all to think about this. Maybe if you want to close your eyes, you certainly can. Imagine a bank, maybe it's Cooley Bank, deposited $86,400 into your account every single day. The money is yours to do whatever you wish with, but at the end of the day, the bank will liquidate whatever amount of the money that you did not use. If this were to happen, wouldn't you withdraw the full amount every single day? Of course you would. You won't want them to liquidate any bit of that money. You know you're going to get the $86,400 the next day anyway. Well, each day when you wake up, you're given a gift just as valuable, and that is the gift of time, 86,400 seconds to be exact. You have the ability to choose how each of these precious seconds is spent. At the end of the day, each one of these seconds, they're going to be lost forever. And of course, you'll receive a new deposit the next day, but think of everything you lost by not spending those seconds using them to the utmost. You can never expect to reach the peak of the mountain if you aren't prepared to spend your seconds climbing towards it. The lesson here is to not waste a single precious second. The old saying, time is money, holds truth in a literal sense. For if your time was tangible, paper bills, money, you'd do everything in your power to put every penny to use. Live for today and spend every second you have in a positive way. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.